yet. I'm not technically late yet, Insanity. What's up, Insanity? What's up, Exanimus? What's up, Zesty? What's up, PR? How are you guys doing? I was almost late. You were almost right. Almost. It's been like a super crazy storm that just like came out of nowhere. I'm also doing laundry, so if you hear like a sound of like a hum or something, that's what that is. What's up, Jack? How are you doing? Let me make sure I can hear this. Hold on. There we go. That's a little better.
Still in Argentina. I spent the day in a place called La Plata, then Mar del Plata.
La Plata?
Nobody looked anything like you. Not a drop of that so-called Austrian or European blood.
Yeah?
Are you sure your people are from Argentina?
My lineage is Austrian. They just happen to end up in Argentina. Pac, thank you so much for being a sub for 7 months. I really, really appreciate you. Hive, thank you so much for the raid of 15. Thank you so much, Hive. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What's up, 40? How are you doing? What's up, Luke? How are you? Gaming, how are you doing? You hate Elden Ring? Abe, what is up? How are you doing? How's y'all's day been? I'm also drinking a beer, just so you know. It's kind of like the end of it's the end of like my main work week, and then I have to go back for like this weekend-ish type
Hello,
thing.
mine for her.
Kuro, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you so much. You guys can share share a beer with the nurse. Abe, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you. One of those days. Yeah. Eric, how are you doing? How's your day been? Oh, also, Hive, you said that you were gonna ask me some question before I had to like cook dinner and stuff like that yesterday. I had to like leave your stream.
I'll share half a bottle of whiskey with you.
Insanity. Cheers! Just be safe about it. Insanity, thank you for the bits. I felt bad I couldn't stay in your stream longer, Hive. I had to like get better with like meal prepping and
You
like
need to warn us when it's a
stuff.
drinking stream. I don't have a drink ready.
Yeah, I have to preemptively tell you guys. Seal, what's up? Welcome back. How are you doing? Detail, what's up? How are you doing? Hive. Oh yeah. What is the best way to approach a girl if you want to be her friend? That doesn't scare women off. Like legitimately a friend, or if you're just like interested in this girl?
No,
Which
you
way
get
are we
half a
talking?
bottle and I get the other half B.
I can't do that. I can't handle whiskey at all. Lotus, how are you
Okay,
doing?
boys,
Reg,
later.
what's up? Wallace,
I will do
what's
better
up?
today, Zesty.
You do better today? Did you fail your thing? I found out what Hive's thing is about. I found out about that. Meadow, what's up? How are you doing? How's your day been? I feel like I need to get this like, it's just my screen really. It's got like a glare on my glasses. And Sandy just won't be here in stream. I see. Chaz, yeah, I will be here for a while. I have a new job, so I'm much closer to work now currently, so. Yes, happy times, exciting times. Also, too, at work today, I decided to DEXA scan myself. For those of you guys who don't know what like DEXA scans are, they're for like body composition, and it shows you bone density and like your percentage of muscle and fat and stuff like that. So today I was like, oh, I'm gonna DEXA scan myself. And so I did. Meep, thank you so much for the follow. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you. Pac, thank you for the bits. So I delayed my plane because I had to watch stream. I'm 95% sure I figured out what your job is based on your clues. You're giving us clues, right?
So I delayed my plane because I had to watch stream. I'm 95% sure I figured out what your job is based on your clues. You were giving us clues, right? Cheeky smiley face, if I'm right. Just. What?
They were clues. They were definitely clues.
What if I'm interested in a nerdy nurse? Should I approach her and say how you doing?
How you doing? Mocha, what's up? How are you doing? We miss you so much.
Well,
So
I'm
many
going
updates.
strong on that challenge. Thank you very much. The strike just got longer now. I was talking about that.
I'm going strong that challenge. Thank you very much. I believe in you.
In granny voice, you're too skinny, mija.
Steve, welcome to the stream. We are so happy to have you here.
Oh hey beautiful. I have missed a lot it seems. New job? New stream? Catch me up please.
Yes. Well, I haven't really gone into it much, Mocha, so you're not really that far off.
Do DEXA scans measure sugar, spice, and everything nice?
What is it? What's the last thing? And chemical X or something like that?
I'm having a beer, I almost opened up my cut again today, so... Ooh, cheers.
Be careful. Cheers to you. You can... Why does this keep happening to me? I mean, I haven't had any time to like look into anything, but why? Why does this keep happening to me? Fearless, what's up? How are you doing? We're crashing every time, it would appear. Yeah, keep crashing. It's ridiculous. Okay, so back to what, Nikki, thank you so much for being a tier 3 sub for 23 months. That is so crazy. Nikki, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you.
If I'm right, I'm 100% sure I know people there based on my background. From my understanding, people in your kind of position wouldn't be able to do that for like another 10 years. Impressive.
It's crazy too, like, you know, it's insane, Pack.
Twitch can't handle your adorableness.
Pack, thank you for the bits. Insanity, thank you for the bits. Zesty, thank you for the bits. This is just like the weirdest thing.
What is your job paying those ghosts for? They can't even keep the internet wires in check.
Oh, yeah, what was I doing? I was doing some like weird movement here that gave me like a weird shadow.
Let's try this again. You have to say it in a New York accent. How you doing?
I can't do it. How you doing? I don't know. I've been to New York like maybe twice. I don't know New York accents. I just know when I hear your voice, I know that's New Yorker. I know that it is. Okay, so Hive, about your question, when you said like what's the best way to approach a girl if you wanted to be friends, are you talking about like genuine friendship? In which case, like, I feel like it can't be, because you wouldn't just be, unless somebody is doing something that is like an active interest of yours, like specifically playing some type of game or has some type of shirt or something like that, like what, they must be doing something or contributing to something that piques your interest, right? Because if that's the case, then I think you have to go with that. Like if they have a shirt that has like My Hero on it or something, like you can spark up a conversation about My Hero, or if they're playing some sport that you're interested in, or they're playing some game that you're interested in, like talk about that, I'd say. You know, because you can't just be like, that's an attractive girl, I just want to be your friend, because that like defeats the purpose, right? Like theoretically, that just like negates that entire like hypothesis. So, I mean, if that's the case, whatever they're doing that caused you to want to be their friend in the first place, you have to go down that path, you know? Or pull Padre and say, what'd that mouth do? You might get a few laughs out of it, I don't know. Maybe. Shadow, what's up? How are you doing? How's your day been?
Hey, you look like you like to kill small animals and bleach their bones. Work? Cheeky smiley face. Hey,
if someone started talking to me about like taxidermy and stuff like that, I would be extremely interested in the conversation. But yeah, you have to have some type of common ground or something, like some basis to stand on. Cause like, I've said it multiple times too. Retsu, what's up? How are you doing? How are you? I've said this multiple times, but you can't just like walk up to somebody and like, one, I hate the biggest thing is like, oh, let me buy you a drink. Well, no, because I always say like things do not just come for free. If they're buying you drinks, they're expecting something from you. So just refuse them all. Plus, I just don't trust people to begin with, you know? So I'll buy my own drinks. But like you can't just like walk up to somebody like, oh, I'd like to get to know you. Because like to me, my first thing is like, okay, yeah, maybe you think that I'm attractive or something and that you just want to sleep with me, but you have no interest in me as a person. You have to try to get them to believe that you care about them as a person in some way, like a genuine way, which can be very, very difficult, especially depending on where you are. You know, it can be difficult, but that's also too, it's why there's specific places typically that are better for meeting people than others. Like, you don't want to meet some girl who's, like, wasted at a club or something like that. You know, chances are that's probably not going to work out too well.
A girl brought my cousin a drink once. He freaked out and thought it was spiked and threw it in the plants. LMAO.
Kuro, thank you for the bits. I can honestly say I've never bought somebody a drink before. Never, never, never. Hi, I say the perfect place to meet a girl at Barnes & Nobles or church. Yeah, I mean, like, understand where you're at, right? Like, if you're at some crazy place and she's, like, up to all sorts of no good, like, what are the chances that you're gonna get a quality, trustful, deep person? You know, you're probably not. So, you know, you just gotta watch out, like, where you're looking and for the right type of person.
I want to thank you for being such an inspiration. I want to be a streamer like you, but I am afraid of the stigma.
XR, thank you so much for being a sub for 14 months. I
then
really,
why
really
do you
appreciate
accept milk from strange Polish cows?
Moscow, I'll go right into that extra, actually. Give me 1 second.
Hive, definitely use Padre's line at church to meet someone.
Moscow, thank you so much for the bits. Zesty, thank you so much for the bits. Klutzy, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate you. You know, whenever it comes down to, like, being a streamer, I mean, it's definitely scary, right? Because you're putting yourself out there, and then also, too, you kind of, like, lose the ability to be able to, like, people have the ability to judge you. All these people are looking at you that ordinarily wouldn't. Like, usually, like, if you're just going to a store or something like that, nobody's gonna, like, I don't know, like, give you a second glance. You're just going on about your daily life.
Oh, on a side note, what Barnes & Nobles and church do you go to?
But, PR, thank you for the bits. You have to kind of, like, just get used to, because people are gonna attack you for all sorts of things. You have to have, like, a tough skin. But then also, too, eventually it kind of helps you because it kind of grows your confidence to say, like, I don't particularly care, like, what people think about me. Because these people are people who don't know you. They would not say that kind of stuff to your face. And then people who say things like that, I mean, their opinions don't really matter anyways. Like, if you're just a sour, angry, just, you know, like, husk of a person, I mean, I am not gonna, like, my biggest pet peeve are people who are just angry and have severe animosity and they treat people terribly, and they think that they have some excuse because it's like, well, I've had a hard life, or this, or that, or you wouldn't understand, you wouldn't get me. That is never an excuse to be a terrible person. Ever.
Oh, also something's up with your P.O. box. I had 3 packages sent back. Unless that's a hint. In which case, I'll resend when I get back home.
I don't know what's happening! They don't even pick up my phone call, so I'll have to go in there in person. Bryn, thank you so much for being here. How are you doing? I have to go in and see. I don't know why that's happening. That is so weird. Jeff, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate you. Cameron, how are you? Crow, where have you been? Crow, as we missed you. Where have you been? But yeah, like, I wouldn't even just say Karens. I would just say that some people in general, they're just, like, angry with the world, and they're just, like, so sour, and they are just terrible people to other people. And it's like they think that they have some type of excuse. There is never an excuse for treating people without respect, without kindness. Well, I mean, I can say that in a grand scope of it. Like, obviously, if somebody is being terrible to you, it is understandable that you would react bad, or, like, you've lost respect for that person. But, I mean, just in general, we all have, like, our demons in our closet. We all have our crosses to bear. These are all things that maybe have befallen us that we didn't necessarily choose, but we can choose how we, you know, project our emotions and how we conduct ourselves. And at the end of the day, I always choose to conduct myself
respectfully. Hope you are doing well.
Antisera
love, Antisera love.
Hello, thank you so much for being a sub for 38 months. That is so crazy. More than I even streamed. That is epic, Aloe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We've missed you, Aloe. What's up, Archangel? How are you? Yeah, the whole angry by default or crazy short fuse. Yeah, like, and I see that so often. King, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate you. But yeah, I see that so often. Let me get this off my screen. Ugh.
Seems like we did it, chat. We sent B so much stuff the post office got fed up.
I don't know what could possibly be going on. PR, thank you for the bits. Thank you. Chromos, of course I remember you. Of course. How could I forget you? What kind of question is that? Some people are just bad people. I mean, it comes from a place of ignorance, right? Because, like, I've said this many times, many times. I even said it actually today at work quite a bit. That there are some people who like, they stand in a kiddie pool and they think that they're swimming with like no idea that there's a torrential sea out there, because people who have like gone up to the higher echelons can look down because they've climbed their way up there. But people who are just in this pool and then they want to sit there and say like, woe is me, you don't understand me, my life is worse than anybody else's, like my life is terrible, you wouldn't understand. So there's always somebody who has it worse than you. It doesn't give you the right to be a terrible person.
And clean house. Make sure it's stocked with workers that can actually handle your P.O. box properly.
I'm gonna go up there and bust at him. What is going on? Where's my P.O. box stuff? Mutter, thank you so much for the follow. I really, really appreciate you. Pack, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you. Does it want to play? Maybe? I'll drink my beer while it plays.
Have you made any new friends at work other than the girl you gave the ride to?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you just as much of a recluse in your new gig? And any hairless Chad potentials there?
Pack, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've definitely made friends with people that I work with. And I work with like a variance of different people, right? So I work with a lot of doctors, a lot of PhD doctors, so researchers of like all different types. But I wouldn't say I'm a recluse, but then also too, like there's also kind of like a level where I'm kind of, there, like, you can be friendly with people, but then also too, like there's also still like a professional like boundary, you know, especially whenever you're at a point where it's like, you're a great person, but you also need to show up to work, because showing up to work is not optional.
Speaking of boys hitting on you, here are some life advice for the boys. If she's single, it's basically a 1 version 30, but if she's taken, it's a 1v1.
That was an epic statement. Thank you so much for the bits. How do I pronounce that? Exerkun? Did I pronounce that right? But it's a pretty epic way to say it. But yes, so there's a lot of interesting people there. And I've made friends with a lot of people. But then also too, I mean, yeah, you have situations where it's like you are an awesome person and you're really good.
More like 1v98 right now.
Zesty, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you. But, you know, sometimes too, it's like you can have like a professional friendship, but then it's also too, just kind of like I said, I was like, you're absolutely awesome and you're great. You know, I like how you do your job and stuff, but just remember, you still have to show up to work. It's not optional, so make sure you're here. All right, I'm not gonna be able to be as nice to you as I have been, you know, so it's just, it's a fine line. Harris, what's up? I love my new job. I love it.
1v the world.
I love it. Mithrium, how are you? Take those odds. You gonna fight those odds, PR? Thank you for the bits. Moscow, thank you for the bits.
The best way to make friends at work is to share your P.O. box information with your colleagues. The real ones will send you stuff before getting to know you.
Moscow, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh my lord. Be on a larger shot? I think I may have died and gone to heaven because it's great to see you closer. Hope you're doing well, feeling healthier, and it's been great hanging here for 2 years.
Isn't that so crazy?
All the
2 years. Envy, thank you so much for being a sub for 2 years. That is crazy. It feels like, it doesn't even seem possible that I've been streaming for 2 years. Like, that seems insane to me. That is so crazy. So crazy. But thank you so much for being here for 2 years. Chase, thank you so much for the follow. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Leadership is always a challenge, especially going into a new gig. You have to set the standards and expectations. Was there a level of dysfunction that you have to fix?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like growing pains for sure, right? And that's kind of like with any job, but then this one in particular, there's like a lot of growing pains. There's a lot of stuff that needs to kind of like be updated and things need to like get up to par. And it's difficult too, because it's like specifically with COVID has like knocked so much stuff down. So there's a lot of times people have gotten used to like not doing as much as they ordinarily would.
It hasn't been 2 years, but we let you have that because you're awesome.
Oh yeah, I guess that's right. I guess that's true. I didn't think about that, Insanity. Thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you.
Entirely unrelated to everyone's awesomeness. Freaking amazing chat. But should I cut hair super short, semi-short, and buzz of the face?
Retsu, thank you for the bits. So, super short or semi-short? Huh. I would say like semi-short. I think you should like it should be short on the sides and then longer on the top. And then, I don't know. I mean, the facial hair I think can suit you. I mean, I'm always a fan of like shorter hair, but I think that, yeah, I think that like short on the sides and like longer on the top would be better. And then facial hair, maybe try a clean shave.
Do whatever you want with the hair, Retus, but grow that beard out like a Viking.
Yeah, I guess whatever you prefer, you know? It's short-ish, but you're trying to figure it out? Or you can be like me and just cut your own hair with a razor and just not care how it turns out.
Retsu, if you don't twin me next year with super shaggy surfer hair and beards, I will be very upset.
Don't do it. Don't do it. No.
I've been subbed to your channel longer than any relationship I've ever been in. I ain't complaining.
Well, I'm the relationship that won't fail you, MV. I'm the stable
Hear that
relationship.
chat, she likes shorter hair. Baldies for the win.
Kuro, thank you for the bits. That is true. That is true. I don't have a preference of like anything other than short hair. You can have, like, you can be clean shaven, you can have a beard, you can have stubble, that doesn't matter. But me personally, I have a preference towards shorter hair on men. Just my preference. Y'all can do whatever you want to do, but personally, that's just what I prefer. Exanimus, a wolf tail? What does that mean? Is that like a rat tail, but like floofier? What does that mean? What is, pray tell what a wolf tail is. Giant, what is up? How are you doing? Ren, military style buzz cut, furless, about height? I don't care what height
I'm sorry to disappoint
is.
everyone, but I tried to grow a nice beard all COVID. It didn't work.
Oh.
Short side and mid top is what I used to do, so going back to that. I buzz my own hair anyways, XD.
Well, hey, Redsu, whatever you think, but that's my recommendation.
How do you feel about gray stubbles? Cause I am man Antisera teehee.
I think gray hair looks so cool on men and women. If I started graying, I would totally rock that.
Well, y'all can have her chat. B don't like long hair.
Fridge, welcome to the stream.
Kept my hair short for 8 years. I am over it.
We're so happy to have you here, Fridge. Welcome. Hey, Insanity, you do you.
Speaking of work, I have to head out for another meeting, but I do want an update, friend.
Mocha,
love you much.
All the love, Mocha. Have fun at your meeting. I know that you're gonna absolutely kill it.
I can't do what I want. Bald is not a choice. I cree not like this.
Kuro, thank you for the bits. See, and that's I think that's fine too.
Since you're an expert,
I would not worry about that.
River Oaks or Sugarland? River Oaks seems very bougie, but Sugarland seems very suburbia.
They're both bougie. Fact. Sugarland definitely has more suburbia areas for sure. There's like the higher end of Sugarland, and there's more like the suburbia
also,
Sugarland.
I'm asking y'all because I don't actually care as much. I like seeing what people would think it'd be good in. Also, buy Mocha. We needs to game.
Yeah, that's my recommendation for you, Retsu. I think that would suit your face the best.
Nah, you don't like long hair, B. It's over. It'll be here, but no more over supportiveness.
I'm just telling you my preference. Hey, man, you do
Well, I
you.
look like I walked right out of 80s with my hair, lol.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Reg, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Asking for a friend. What about meeting girls on TikTok? Also, your birthday gift is going out Saturday, so you should have it Thursday
Let's
or
hope
Friday.
the P.O. Box doesn't like send it back. I have to go over there and see what the heck is going on. Reg, thank you so much for the $5
get that
donation.
beard growth oil and let it go.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Reg. So much. What's up, Elite? Zesty, thank you for the bits. Yeah, but that's just my recommendation. Packed River Oaks is super bougie, but it's a very nice area.
You always have a presence in our lives. You
Louis,
can
welcome to the
guarantee everyone
stream.
leaves happy after stream, as I know you
We're
feel
so
the
happy
same
to have
way.
you here, Louis.
You are indeed the highlight of the week with your quirkness. Toast, Bianca.
DX, toast, cheers. DX, thank you so much for the bits. That is so sweet of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, River Oaks is bougie, but it is a very nice area. If you're gonna be in Houston, like Houston proper, I'd say River Oaks. But if you want, like, if you have the ability to be like in the Houston area, it's a lot calmer and it's more laid back and slow and stuff like that in Sugarland. Which Sugarland is still a very, very nice area. It's very safe. Nothing crazy ever happens in Sugarland. And so they're both very, very good places to live. They both have like a very good reputation of like safety and stuff like that. And whoever had asked me about height, yeah, to me personally, height does not matter. Once again, like I'm 5'2", so if somebody else was also 5'2", I wouldn't care. They'd still even be like at my same height. And I mean, anything above 5'2" is taller than me, so I mean, somebody wouldn't even have to be taller than me per
Always
se.
a fade
I would not
with
care.
medium length hair on the top, Nemesis.
Always a
Hyde
fade.
is the only one here that has seen my face.
Wallace, thank you for the bits. See, yeah, that would be an epic hairstyle. Yeah, I'm a fan of like military-esque hairstyles. Plus, thank you so much for the follow. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, even if somebody was shorter than me, I also wouldn't care. I also wouldn't care, personally. I would definitely date somebody
I have
who's shorter than me
1980s hair bee with a 5 o'clock shadow lol.
What is this style? Is it like a mullet? Like,
Not
what is
true,
it? I'm
Wallace.
curious.
You slipped up in the GC once and I saw your face too.
What? Is this a face reveal? Zesty, thank you
I
for
miss
the
my
bits.
mouth length hair from my forehead.
Your mouth length hair from your forehead. Oh, you're talking about like super long. Well, I mean, you also, yeah, you were in the military for like ever, so I can understand that like you're so used to not being
Pretty
able to
sure Willow is the
have your
only man shorter than you,
hair
lol.
out. Who's Willow? I don't know who Willow is. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's rare for somebody to be shorter than me. I mean, just even women in general are shorter than me typically, or taller than me typically. But chat get
Do
haircuts.
you realize you are going to make chat get haircuts tomorrow, lol?
I mean, hey, I say you do whatever you want. Like at the end of the day, what's most important is like your confidence, and if you feel like you can rock it,
Warwick
go
Davis
for it.
is shorter than B and Mini Me.
Insanity, thank you for the bits. Thank you. SM, thank you so much for the follow. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you. But yeah, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, like something that's super important is like if you're happy with how you are, like if you have confidence in yourself, like self-confidence, and you're like mentally stable and you're like, you know, genuinely healthy and stuff like that, and you're like happy with how you are and like how you present yourself and you're confident in like conversations and stuff, that goes so far.
So you really wouldn't dye your hair? My hair was graying at the temples since I was in my mid-20s, and I think it makes me look too dad lol.
Well, that's clearly my vibe, so no, I'd say don't dye it. But I can understand why people would want to. Ours, thank you so much for the follow. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you. But no, I would not want to dye my hair. Actually, at one point, I had dyed my hair gray, believe it or not, and it looked really freaking cool. That was back when I was in the OR, so I would wear like a scrub cap all the time, so you couldn't see my hair color. But yeah, I personally think it looks really cool, especially like the salt and
What if I'm
pepper look.
confident I am a walking human turd? Does that count?
I mean, one, you're not, but also two, if you're happy being however you perceive yourself and like you rock it, then yeah, it does count.
Yeah, Zesty, it was a slip, but I deleted it just like when I sent it to B as well. I got a fresh cut yesterday for rocking blues today. Ahead of the curve always.
Wallace, thank you for the bits.
B with gray hair? Antisera nosebleed.
Zesty, thank you for the bits. Yeah, I'm gonna look like a super...
I've had gray
super
hair since I
librarian.
was 18. All my friends want me to dye it. Never.
Yeah, I say rock it. I think it looks so cool. I think it's really, really cool.
Okay, what about confidence with obnoxiously high self-expectations? Pestilly KEKW.
I mean, I think that we all kind of have that, you know? You just can't let it bleed into your, like, into your life and then into, like relationships with other people, you know? Because like, I have that as well, and I can tell when I start, like, going off the deep end and stuff. And it's like, I have extremely high expectations of myself, but then too, I was like, I don't want you guys to sit here and listen to me, like, dog on myself when it's like, honestly, like there's not, like I'm doing well for myself and I'm very proud of everything that I've done. Like, so I need to be optimistic because nobody likes a pessimist, you know what I mean? And mentally in my mind, I'm an extremely depressive person and it's very difficult for me to pull myself
My
out
dad
of
is
it.
all
but
salt, no pepper. He's not allowed to meet B.
PR. He's off limits. PR, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you. Bando, what's up? How are you doing? Salt and pepper with the blue eyes, rock the dad bod with the argyle sweater. That's my vibe right there. Oh my gosh. Detail, the best litmus test is the test that the person can return their shopping cart. Yeah, I've heard of that actually. That's a really cool analogy. Joel, how are you doing? Zesty, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you. Insanity, thank you for the bits.
I have a tiny gray patch in my beard near my chin. Kinda wish it'd sprinkle throughout cause I like the contrast to the dark brown.
Yeah, that always looks really cool too. To have like really dark hair or like darkish hair.
B, you think we will let you dog on yourself? What do you think this is? This is B Simp Nation.
Instead of Vape Nation, we got Simp Nation. Insanity, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you. But yeah, I like at baseline, I'm an extremely depressive person. Like I was even thinking about that today. I was like, you know, I think the most important thing is that like people need to feel understood, right? And it's like sometimes people can be wonderful people and they're like genuinely kind to people. And you can tell that they're like doing everything that they can to like understand you. And yet still, like why sometimes can some people relate to other people better than other people can? And I thought about that. And I thought, like, maybe it's because, like, they've walked down similar paths, but what if they haven't?
Would you ever do that temp dye to gray for some epic IG pics?
Oh, my hair wouldn't take, my hair is way too dark to be able to take any type of temporary dye. I can do darker temporary dye, which I have done quite a few times. You can see it in my photos, but I can't, because it would have to have a bleach to be able to cover my hair. And then technically, you have to bleach your hair super blonde, like platinum blonde, and then it's like a toner that like will turn it that kind of color. And sometimes it doesn't take. But yeah, that temporary stuff would not work on my hair. But yeah, why do you think it is that there are some people that are able to like relate to you on a better level? Because like there are some people who could like they can answer your question. But then too, it's like if I say it's like, okay, well all if you want to be is understood, but then too, like, if you can't even express what you need to be understood.
Mullet, but it's gonna look crazy when I let it grow out more lol, but I've had customers compliment it, but I think it's my super light blue eyes they can't get past.
Eric, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Antisera B, Antisera Kim Chunk, Antisera Teehee, Antisera B, Antisera Kim Chunk.
Thank you so much for being ASAP for 24 months. That is crazy. Thank you so much for being here for 2 years.
Can confirm bleaching hair is a pain. First-hand experience.
Yeah, it has a tendency to fry your hair too, especially because my hair is like pretty dark.
I think the relating to someone has to do with both experience, as well a level of EQ or empathy. And as we've talked, most people in this society have too much narcissism be able to relate.
Do you? I mean, that's a really good take on it. That is a really, really good take, Pac.
Way off topic. But did you see the Webb telescope photos this week?
No, I didn't see them this week.
Second most beautiful thing I've seen on my computer screen this week.
I haven't seen them yet. I have not. I have not. But yeah, I mean, that's like a really good take because like I was thinking, it's like actually like right before the stream, it's like if you sit there and it's like, you can sit there and say like, oh, well, I just want somebody to understand me, right? But then it's like, well, what do they need to understand? You know, like somehow it's like you need something from someone that you're not aware of yourself. Isn't that weird? Does anybody else think about that? Like there's something innately within you that needs to be filled, but you don't know what it is. You can't express it, right? Isn't that weird? That's weird. Very curious. Retsu, why didn't it read? I'll read it.
To answer the question of why I call you Nemesis, you are keeping me from the love of my eternity.
I'm keeping you away from your love of your eternity? That's why I'm your nemesis. Wallace, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you. Retsu, 3 things. Chat, you're all beautiful. My facial hair is actually mixed gray / dark, and my hair is gradually getting lighter. Final, I understand the dark hair bleach struggle. Might have... you have the frosted tips. Your nemesis, Wallace. Saint, what's up? How are you doing? How's your day been? Welcome back, Chromaz. Welcome back. Hive, Lout, and Mimo are coming to see you. What? That's gonna be so exciting. Don't get hurt. Be safe. Common ground, probably feeling mutually comfortable about that person. But what if you have common ground? What if you have all the pieces for like the perfect formula of what you believe that you needed, and then you had it all together and something still is just
but that's like a lot of
not
things.
There.
Like looking at someone else's relationship, a person can diagnose the issue, but in their own people are blind. So when looking at you, a person can see what's missing or what you need, if they have empathy.
I think maybe
Yeah, go look into a mirror and you will
see.
see what I see in her.
Wallace, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you. Green-Eyed Devil, thank you so much for the follow. Tib, thank you so much for the follow. Seb, what is up? Saint, what are we talking about? We are, I don't even know how I would even like describe it really, but I was just thinking in general today. It's like when you're sitting there and like you may have people, Chaos, what's up? How are you doing? How are you doing? There's just like times it's like I feel like when it comes down to it, like the more that I look at people, the more that I've seen like just even throughout like medicine as a whole, or like even throughout my life, it's like the thing that's the most important is to like understand somebody and to truly have that person feel like they understand them and that they accept them as they are. Maybe we're not all perfect, but you accept their imperfections as well. Chromas, thank you so much for being a sub for 4 months.
We deserve to be seen, to help guide and support us on our journey. But I think a big issue is that our negative bias keeps us from allowing us to let the person who meets that criteria. I think the...
But what do I know? I mean, to see how we deserve to be seen. But that's the thing, yes. And I mean, I think that we all have like these different types of paths and stuff, and that we're never really fully sure on like what this path that we're supposed to go in, like really, like we don't know the end point. We may think we do, and we also get like very cocky in a sense like that, to where we think that we know the answers to everything in reality when we don't. Is it wanting to, I don't know why sometimes it's want it. Pack, thank you so much for the bits. It can also be, as you said, the right person is your perfect match. It's a law of nature. They'll just know. They can go for romance, but they can also go for friendship or other relationships. Yes, but that's what drives me crazy. Like, why? 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 I have to know why. The physicist in me must know why. Why? Because I can't express it at all, right? Gamer, thank you so much for the follow. Because actually, like, one of Pac, I think it was you specifically, who had asked me yesterday, you're like, you know, when it comes down to like me dedicating so much time to my career and how it's like, well, you know, I've kind of like sacrificed many things in my life for my career. And I was thinking about it today, like when I was walking around work, and I was like, yeah, I mean, like, because there are people who are extremely like emotional people, and they're expecting they want somebody who's there like every night, and like as to me, and I was like, I was all over the United States, you know, like there's times for like months on end that like I wouldn't be able to be back or be home, or how even now, like I work crazy hours and weird hours depending on what I have to do. And it's like, sometimes people can't accept stuff like that, because sometimes people want that person who's there every morning when they wake up, and that person who's there like every night whenever they go to bed. And I sadly can't be that. And so it's difficult, because it's like they can both be like two genuinely good people, but then too...
Lol, you're hilarious. It's a God thing, B. It just is. You'll never be able to explain
right?
it. There's a plan. Religion apart from it. The more I live, the more I see a design.
Very true. FA, thank you so much for the follow. Pirate, thank you so much for the follow. Pack, thank you so much for the bits. Gamer, I think I said thank you for the follow, but if I did not, thank you so much for the follow. I know, right? You just have to say like why, the meaning of life. But yeah, I mean, there can be a lot of situations where somebody can just like, it's just not what they need, in a way.
I've literally never thought I wish someone understood me. XD, the secret is not being so complex. Someone has to figure you out. You wanna be understood? Speak an understandable language, not Latin.
Well, that's the problem, Hive. That's exactly what we're discussing here. That's literally the part of, you know, when you want someone to answer something for you that you can't even answer yourself.
I've told you this, but I have to say it again. Your view on life and people. So welcoming and honest. Always a sweetheart. It's just one of many reasons I love you and this community. Antisera, love Antisera, smoochies.
PR, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you. Kuro, thank you for the bits.
I have been in a situation once, where I loved someone so much, but there were external factors that I thought would prevent things from being what they need, and I thought that it would be better to be her friend instead. She found out and was so annoyed with me. I think I've said it before on stream, but I believe everyone has something they lack, no matter how much they think they may not. And only someone else can provide that. Similar interest and common foundations are great and important in a...
So you find something that can provide that missing piece without directions, and look different.
I think if it doesn't click using your example, it's not meant to be. I've tried to force it, and if it's not easy, I don't think it's something to pursue. That doesn't mean love isn't work and sacrifice, but a basic...
Yeah, I see. I feel like that was very well worded, Pat. Reckless, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. And that's the thing too, is like, I'm not saying that two different people can't come together and can't coexist. I mean, that's like the piece that I don't understand as well. Like, why do some people relate better to other people? And I'm not even just saying like relating in a sense. I mean like clicking with that person. There can be people who are completely different. There can be somebody who's extremely logical and somebody who's extremely emotional. And yet somehow, as vastly different as they are, they still click in some way. But then too, it's like there are people that do have that type of, I don't know, it's like you can't stop thinking about it. Like this feeling that something is like missing or that you're looking for something. And when you sit down and you try to think about it, you can't even come up with what it is that you need, which is madness, which is maddening, right? Especially if you're one of those people who are very scientific. It's like you want the answers to things, and yet sometimes, just like you said, Pat, I agree. Like we don't have the answers for it. We probably never will. Dan, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate you. But, yeah, I mean, it's just, life finds a way. But I believe in that too. I mean, I believe that, you know, that I believe that things that are meant to be will happen the way that they're meant to. And a lot of things too, yours has a wave function just like mine. Yeah, I mean, that's a very good way to put it as well. Detail. Very good way. Because you can accept somebody, you know, and you can really care about that person, but why do some people click better with other people? I just don't get it. How can some people, like, I don't know. But I am constantly in a mental turmoil within my mind.
The currencies of love are understanding, loyal, and trust. When it comes to that, I am the richest guy in the world.
Wallace, that's a very good way to be. That is a very good way to be. Very good. And that's a beautiful way to be, for sure. Insanity, thank you for the bits. Thank you.
Do you think it could be the opposites attract thing?
Sometimes,
I've seen a few
yes.
of my friends end up with someone they vehemently said they never would be with, but they ended up together and are more happy than they were with their ideal image of someone.
Yeah, because you rarely know exactly what you need. Very rarely. We think we do. We're cocky that way. Humans are cocky that way.
My best friend is a 75-year-old woman. Don't judge.
No judgment.
On paper we're so different, but there's basic respect and understanding and even selflessness in the relationship. I think that's the key.
It's more about them than you. I mean, yes, in a way. Toph, what's up? How are you doing? We've missed you here, Toph. I hope you are doing well. What's up, Mimo? How are you doing? There does need to be, like, a genuine respect and selflessness. And that's true. But there's something, and I have to think about this more. I mean, I was thinking about it is not a red stripe. No. I don't know. It's a Tachino nest. It's from Japan. It's a red rice ale, but I've never had this before. I
think of it like music scales. A note in different scales is simply the same core note. They match each other even though one might be higher or lower to each other. The expression and intensity is different, but they are at the same.
That definitely makes sense. It definitely does. Definitely.
Never cared about how much time we spend together. It's more about the quality of time we spend together than the quantity. I could go the distance with you.
that's the thing too. Some people like, have different needs, right? So some people it's like, it doesn't matter. Like I said, like my job, I work a lot. And so it's like, that being said, I mean, some people are okay with that. Some people are not okay with that. Some people are more emotional than others. But it's just curious that that's even the case anyways too, right? That we have these vastly different personalities to begin with. And like why you are such a unique individual, especially because it's extremely philosophical, because when it comes down to it, I mean, scientifically speaking, we have no explanation for personality or any of that stuff. And I've said that before in previous streams where when I was little, I thought, like, it's just a different blend of neurochemicals and neurotransmitters that, like, make you you and that make me me, but that's not the case. Not by a long shot.
Buttercup missed these therapy chat streams with you. You are indeed a person with a heart of gold who is true definition of awesomeness. Just promise we get a shout out when you stand at the podium for Nobel Peace Prize.
I hope I get the Nobel Peace Prize one day. That would be so epic. So epic.
In terms of why we click with some people better, it's a thought I have often. I have friends that are vastly different from each other and even from myself, yet I get along with them all. Even my best friend has tons of ideals and
Right. Yeah, it is an odd topic, and there's no explanation. There's no explanation for it. Killin', I'm too faded for this conversation, Chris. I would say that you're just faded enough for it.
Those are different octaves. I couldn't remember it, so called them scales. My bad, and thank you.
Betsu, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's like running a dungeon in FF. Not that you would know anything about that. The perfect relationships are ones that complement each other and are selfless. Not that you would know anything about that.
Back! Oh my gosh, shots fired. Shots fired, shots fired. Chromaz, yes, I started a new job. So yes. I am. Bando, I foresee after she finishes her physics degree, a career change to PhD of psychology. No, I'm personally, that wouldn't be an interest of mine, but I do a lot of work on psychology.
Keep dreaming,
things.
B. The Swedish Academy doesn't have a category for peas. Nobel Peace Prize. Don't make me laugh.
Moscow, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So much. But... yeah, I actually do a lot of research whenever it comes down to psychology, psychiatry, brain function, a lot of that stuff. And that's just what drives me crazy. Because like, not only is it something that is curious to me to begin with, but it's also very fascinating to me with my career just in general. I think it's absurdly crazy to me.
I told Hive today if I got a chance to date you it would be epic. I would either be your last first date ever or the worst one of you life. Only issue is distance for it to happen nemesis. I would get the yes to a date in person.
Wallace, I like that confidence. It's a good confidence to have, Wallace. I like that scale. It'll be your last first date ever, the worst one ever. That would be epic. Very, very epic. Very, very epic. Bando, you'll do the psychology, you do the physics. Let's take over the world. I'll ask all my permissions first. Dr. Penrose on consciousness. Zesty, I've literally thought about going to school for behavior sciences just because how fascinating it is, even down to the body language. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. Very curious. Even with certain types of conditions and disease processes that are prevalent in certain types of acuities. Very curious. PR, thank you for the bits. As someone who works a lot too, I need someone who can understand and have goals and priorities. I'll give anyone I care about all the time I can. Time is everything, but if they can't appreciate what I can give, then they don't deserve anything. Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with, yeah, like a misunderstanding, I guess. Because sometimes people can take things as, well, your work or your job is more important than I am, and that's not the reality of the situation. Like, the reality is like you have dreams and you have priorities and you're working towards that goal, and they're supposed to support you in that. But there's also a sense of, like,
$100 says Wallace's worst date with B would be better than my best. I subconsciously ruin it with even the most certain chance of success.
Insanity, that's so sad. Oh my gosh, that is so sad.
I
But PR, yeah, sometimes
would be
people
B's
will
best
make
first date. I would give her plenty of things to swerve down country roads and avoid wild hogs and find a spooky spot out in the middle of nowhere to make her wonder and am making it home tonight.
I might die tonight. Hi, thank you so much for the donation.
I am showing up in cosplay and causing a scene. We are doing something that will get your heart racing. Maybe wind tunnel to start.
You said wind tunnel, and my first thought went to Inuyasha with Morocco and his wind tunnel.
You say sad, I say realistic.
Insanity. Thank you for this. I thought that was just like a general, like, declaration.
I think there's too many variables
world.
for you to quantify. It's like the color spectrum you've discussed. Because it's not a Boolean, we connect or we don't connect.
Very true. Very true. Very, very true. Very, very true. That is very true. And that's the mad thing too, is that like I know I can't explain it. I know I'll never be able to explain it, which is just absurdly irritating to me. And I think to myself, why? Right? Like, why? Why do I enjoy reading this literature at like 3 o'clock in the morning and just destroying my psyche over it? Why do I like to do this? But there's nothing else that I would rather spend my time doing. You know, and that's hard for some other people to understand as well, because it's almost like you're tormenting yourself in a way, but it's so beautifully painful.
Speaking of color theory, you still own me a mind color profile whenever you have time to actually think about it, lol.
That is true, Zesty. That is true. That is very, very true. Very, very true. DX, how did you first discover your love of physics? I mean, I think I was always inclined to science. And I don't know how, I think I've always just been interested in it. And I wasn't even like at base level good at it. It's something that I really had to work at, which is funny because like it was a passion that I sucked at.
If we're talking about date ideas, I have one in every city. Just pick one B and I'm ready, Antisera teehee.
You're prepared. I love it. You're prepared. Pack.
Which is the work in love? There's a Venn diagram connection, not a Boolean. The work is making sure you can understand and respect and even compliment and support the differences.
That is very true, Pack. Very, very true.
Her teacher in HS.
My high school physics teacher. That's why I said this is what I'm going to dedicate my life to.
Because you have an extremely inquisitive mind, B. If you could, we all know you would figure out every single mystery to exist.
I know. Very. But sometimes that's not a good thing.
While you were thinking about Festy mind color thing, maybe mail out that V card.
Wallace, yes. Yes. Wallace. I have to send you a message. I will. I shall. I know you probably don't believe me, but it'll happen. Chromas, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Thank you.
I'm done memeing. Take a contract at Nevant Health New Hanover Medical Center and I'll show you around town. I'll show you my favorite restaurant and then we can finish the night walking along the beach. I'm waiting for your
Chromas, thank you so much for the donation. Thank you.
When you get that done, I will mail you out a very rare rose.
A very rare rose, as long as my P.O. box doesn't stop sending stuff back. It's so ridiculous. Rosalind, thank you so much for the follow. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you. Zesty, mail Wallace's card so he can stop this
Yeah,
is that what's
mail
happening?
Wallace his card so he stopped this haphazard strike.
You know, as soon as that's completed, he's gonna be on another strike. He seems to love strikes for some reason. We all know he's just gonna find another thing to strike about. It's gonna be ramen, or it's gonna be me not eating something. Just wait. Yeah, there's a very high incidence of depression and anxiety, actually, with people who tend to be deeper thinkers, which is interesting, too, because that goes back to the old saying, like, ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise. It's almost beautiful to live in ignorance and to not contemplate things at a deeper level. It's curious. Like, direct data that correlates to that.
I think we spoke about this before, but I think some things are like magic. They are amazing and leave you with a sense of wonder, but if you knew how, Why? Then it's no longer magic, ya know.
Yes. Merrick, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Merrick. Kuro, yes. Yes, in a way, I would say. But also, too, it's madness to know that I'll never get the
You said you've had
answers.
depression, but you're also hyper-positive.
I'm
So is that in response to your
person.
depression, or in spite of it?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely in spite of it. My base level is an extremely depressive state, and it takes everything that I have to like pull myself out of it. I also don't want you guys to think that I'm like severely depressed. My baseline demeanor sways towards
Canada
depression.
meet and greet?
Kron, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But that also doesn't mean, it's a very weird way to say it. Like I think sometimes people tend to be like from two different like color spectrums, right? Like you have the people who are like sunshine and rainbows and like that type of stuff. And then you also have people who just tend to be sadder, and that doesn't even necessarily mean sad. And that's kind of what I'm getting at too. I like the somber, I like the deep, painful things. I like to read about stuff like that. I like to hang around in graveyards. That's just how my base demeanor is. And that's why I get lost in thought. That's why I just go insane over these questions.
So is your perfect match naturally hyper-positive Pollyanna to pull you up, or matching your down state?
I don't know. I wish I knew. But I don't know. I wish I did.
I'm dark and happy. Perfect match.
Yeah. Yes. It's curious.
So this is probably the most intelligent I will sound, but I think that aside from the random, that we find within others that make us love, care for them, I think that in order to have a lasting relationship you have to have a level of being able to put up with whoever.
Yes, well it definitely takes work. It'll probably be the most work you've ever done.
Yeah, we saw a little of that upset, depressed side on the 12th of May. That day echoes in my soul.
Wallace, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Insanity, thank you for the bits. But hive love is often times more of a choice than a feeling. It is, yeah. I mean, it's definitely something that you have to work at. You know, I mean, it's usually the people that you love the most are the ones that drive you the craziest, you know, and you have to consciously choose to fight for that. Most definitely. But it's not only that, you know, not only that. But I mean, it's curious. I just feel like a lot of times, like if I say, I don't know, I need to cohesively think
I understand
about this better.
you. I always try and be optimistic, but there is something alluring about the darkness. Never swayed afar, but deep thoughts open the mind to new things.
PR, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's just a curious thing. I think people just have two ways of looking at the world.
How's it feel to be loved by so many unconditionally?
Khan, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you, thank you. I mean, you guys help me out so much more than I can ever say, and I truly mean that. And I hope that that comes across as true as I mean it, because you guys add so much to my life. And like I said, like I'm a recluse. I mean, I spend all my time focused on school and work or reading and stuff like that, and to be able to have you guys to talk to is just unreal to me.
Well, B, just do as I say and I won't have a reason to strike. Then we both win. Me a little more.
Wallace, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So you really are Bronte and not Jane Austen. Love exists, but it's not far from tragedy. And that's the 2 points of view. Bronte-ish and Austen-ish.
That's a good way to put it. Very curious. Yeah, and the thing is too with Bronte is that there's a lot of tragedy in love, you know? It's tragic. It's beautiful, but it's also very tragic. Bro, thank you so much for the follow. Ken Slayer, thank you so much for the follow. I really, really appreciate you. Reg, as Kenny said, anything worth my love is worth a fight. That is
Wallace,
true.
Can your next strike be if B stops sliding in my DMs? Help a brother out.
Zesty. Bando, do you find you start a conversation in your mind pessimistically, then make a conscious effort to turn it
Hi,
positive?
my name's Tragedy
Yes, all
Needs
the
Some
time.
Love.
It's not even that it's pessimistic, it's that I am a very logical person and I can come off very blunt and it can seem very cold, and that's not the way that I intended at all. So I have to try to make it a warmer statement because it's not how I mean it to come off and to sound, but coming from me, it can definitely sound far more brutal than what I actually intend it to be. So I have to bring it back because, like, to me, if you're gonna try to make any stance with me or like to sway my mind in any way, you have to come from a logical standpoint. You cannot appeal to my emotions. You will not get anywhere. And so, and I mean like on a professional standpoint, like on serious topics and stuff. Like obviously like talking about Kafka or something like that, I'd be like fascinated what your thoughts about that would be. But yeah, I have to kind of sugarcoat the way that things come across in my mind quite a bit.
I think a lot of nurses are that way.
Like Kron, thank you for the bits. Pack, thank you for the bits. I didn't read it, but it's the focus. Bronte focuses on the tragedy. Austin focuses on the positivity. They both exist. And maybe 99% crappy tragedy. That's how it's painted. The 1%. Very true. Toph, a lot of nurses are that way. There's thunder. I don't know if you guys can hear it. See, I think that nursing is, like I always say, the most toxic field I have ever worked in, ever. The most toxic people I've ever worked with, the worst environment that I've ever worked in. It was absolute madness, but I feel like a lot of that was a lot of people, kind of like how I was going on earlier in the stream, which I don't think you were here for that yet, Toph, but there are people who think that they know better than everybody else, or that they've had it more difficult, and so they have a right to just say whatever they want to say, and that there's no consequences for their actions, so they just get away with it until they come across somebody where that doesn't fly with. But nurses, in my opinion, they are very blunt, but not for the right reasons, in my opinion. And even if I do come off saying things blunt, because that's how it functions in my mind, I still take the time to understand, especially from like a leadership standpoint, that that can't always be the way that you present yourself to somebody. You have to know who you're talking to. You have to know who like the receiver of this conversation is. Like if somebody is also a logical person, I'll present myself in a certain way. If somebody is a lot more emotional, I'll present the topic in a different way. You know, it's just, it depends. You have to be relatively fluid in the way that you present yourself. Myra, what's up? How are you doing? How are you? How are you? Well, I'm kind of running over. I'm gonna have a very busy time these next few days, you guys. So as much as I have loved talking with you guys, these are very, very interesting. But what I think I need to do for future things is I need to pick a specific quote from someone, like say
struggle
Kafka.
With something in life, I've never seen someone go through it with as bright and big of a smile as yours, and it shows how strong you really are.
I appreciate that. So much.
I feel like I have to be very analytical to cope with the things I see. These things happen. People die, ya know?
Yes, and I get that. I do. And I do get that.
If someone gets to know the depth of your soul, they will understand you for you. I just want to know why you are the way you are. Blunt you is an attractive quality, one of my favorite things about you.
Wallace, thank you for the bits. Moscow, thank you for the bits.
Here are my thoughts on Kafka. He had terrible taste in Friends because his bestie, Max Brod, published his works against his dying wishes to destroy them.
For those of you guys who don't know Kafka, he died in like his 40s, and he never really like finished any of his works. And so basically like before he died, he told his best friend, burn all of my stuff. And his best friend printed it anyways, which is why we have Kafka's works to begin with. So what a legend. I'm surprised you know that, Moscow. I'm very impressed. Very impressed. Hold on, you guys. I just wanted to see here. Okay. Good deal. That's gonna have to be the end of my stream, you guys.
So busy. I thought you said this was the end of your work week. No rest for B? Sad
it is
face.
Kind of the end of my it's kind of the end of my work week. Kind of. Sort of. I do have a ton of stuff to do as well, but it's kind of a different thing. There's like the work portion of it, and then there's like a specific other portion of it that I have to do, which is the more chaotic portion that I have to do.
I can't read? You insult me, B.
PR, thank you for the bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Moscow. Thank Thank you for the... No, I have never in my life come across somebody who knew that information about Kafka. I'm impressed. That's all I'm saying. I bet you stole it from your Polish cow. Your Polish cow probably told you, and then you messaged it out here. Okay, so you guys, next week, the stream Tuesday and Thursday. I may possibly stream on Friday, but I haven't decided yet. I have to see how my work schedule is going to be. But it's going to be 7 p.m. CST, just like it's been for these last, like, what is it, 2 weeks? So Tuesday and Thursday. I will not be here Wednesday unless I get something scheduled around, but if I can, I'll let you guys know on Tuesday. Okay, so that being said, we are going to raid Hive because he just started streaming. You guys know that, right? Been talking about it. English. You're making me spell all these long, crazy, eloquent words, Hive. But I love you guys so much. You guys mean everything
Buttercup,
to me.
Please have a great week and thank you for everything. You are indeed the most special to us all. Thank you for the 2 years with you.
You're so sweet. DX, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you. Insanity, thank you for the bits.
Night chat. Y'all have a great weekend.
I appreciate you guys so much. What's up, Cortez? How are you doing? Here for the end of the stream. I hope this is gonna work. Let's see if it's gonna work. Okay, now it's getting ready. I had to fix some settings, so now. PR, thank you so much for the bits.
Have a good night, B. Thanks for hanging with us. Try and find some you time.
I'm trying, you guys. I'm really trying. But that also being said, I think I need to pick some quotes and stuff like that. We can go over them for some philosophical classical literature talks. Why not? Oh no! Wait, okay. I thought I hit something. MV, thank you so. Why is this not working? Hold on. I'm sorry. I messed up something. Now it's going. Okay, so we're gonna raid Hive. Hive, best wishes on your stream. I know that you're gonna do absolutely amazing. Everybody else, I love you guys so much. Insanity, thank you so much for the bits. I will see you guys.
Beforehand so I can actually contribute, B.
I will. How about I can post it on Instagram? It'll be our first test next Tuesday. Okay? You know I suck at this stuff. I'm gonna try it. Yeah. Philosophy stream.
Philosophy stream.
Okay. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. If it wants to go.